everyone, this is Senrex here from the Order 66 Hellions, and today I'm going to be doing my 10th roster review. We made it to the big 1-0 in the series on Vinchenzo. This account I am really excited to be doing a review for because I like it a lot, and Vince is a really sweet guy. So first and foremost, I'm going to go over the itinerary. My format is going to be the same as the last one. I have it outlined here. First, we're going to do the account overview in the game, and then we're going to talk about the fleets in the game, go through the roster, who's missing, characters, Datacrons, etc., all in-game, and then we're going to switch back after the Datacron section and go over the GAC in the regular format, the mods in the regular format, my suggestions moving forward, and self-promotion, all in the original format from the first 8 videos. This time I'm going to try and I've decreased a little bit of the text that I'm going through, so I'm going to be explaining things a lot more than I'm going to be spelling them out on paper, particularly for the GAC region, because I think Vince is doing a very nice job in that regards. So let's get right into this in-game footage. Alright guys, welcome to the in-game portion of our roster review on Vince right now. He is currently sitting in Chromium 3 and climbing in Grand Arena. He is 121st in his arena shard, which doesn't really matter that much. But what is important to note is that he has a 7-star executor and is currently sitting at 11th in his fleet arena. He's performing very well in his fleet arena, and this is going to allow him to get some bonus crystal income. I truly believe that every person should be trying their best to claw their way into the top 20 or 50 for fleet arena. Definitely top 10 would certainly help with that crystal income. So if you are anyone in the game that has Executor, Negotiator, or Profundity, or Leviathan, you should almost every day be achieving, or every day that you can, be achieving a first place score in arena rankings. A lot of my YouTube channel in recent days has been dedicated to teaching counters for Leviathan with Negotiator and Profundity counters with Executor to help people that have Executor and Negotiator take first in their fleet arena. So let's go ahead and take a look at Vince's fleets. As we know, we're going to look at capital ships first. Vince has his Executor, his Negotiator, Relic 8, his Malevolence, his Finalizer, and his Chimera up. I'd say those are probably his best ships. His Malevolence is better than mine at Relic 7. His Executor is 7 stars, Relic 8. Negotiator, 7 stars, Relic 8. Finalizer, obviously from his Supreme Leader Kylo Ren fleet, is very nice. With his Finalizer fleet, he should have the tank ship done. Looks like he does. He's got the TIE Echelon completed, and this is an amazing ship investment that he has. So with this fleet lineup, he should be able to easily counter Executors, which is really nice to see. So Vince has got one off-meta Executor counter. He does not have an Empire counter quite up yet. It looks like he's working on getting TIE Defender up to 7 stars, which once he gets her up, and he gets his some sister. One of the sisters has a ship. That one's a conquest farm, so it's going to be pretty difficult for him to get. But once he gets those 2 ships up, he's going to have a great off-meta counter with the Chimera or the Executor. Overall in his fleets, there's a few things that I think he's missing. First and foremost, in his Republic lineup, Now we're going to look at his Republic lineup, and if you bear with me here, you will notice that he is missing the BLT bomber, which is absolutely necessary for the Leviathan counter. So if I was in Vince's position, I would be hard farming the ship so quickly. So Vince, if you're watching this, which you should be because you requested this specifically, I would really recommend working on getting your BLT bomber up to 7 stars, as you have Umbar and Starfighter, Anakin, and Ahsoka all up to high relic, as well as the Negotiator, and you have Plo Koon Starfighter up, I believe. Yeah, and you've got the reinforcement abilities. He doesn't need to be good; he just needs the reinforcement abilities. So you have every single piece of the puzzle to counter Leviathan, minus the tank. So I would really recommend getting that fleet up really soon. Let's take a look at his characters now that we've gone over his fleets in pretty good depth. First and foremost, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. He's got Executor characters leveled up, obviously Executor to 7 stars. Solid first order to go with his Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. A lot of Galactic Republicans characters dominating the top of his roster. General Skywalker, Shock T5, General Kenobi, Padme Amidala, C-3PO, Echo, He's got a Jedi Knight Revan lineup done with Bastila Shan all the way up to Relic. Looks like he's got Jolie Bindo as well. He might be missing a few Jedi here. His Hermit Yoda looks like he's a little bit lacking. That would definitely be, and he's got no Mons on him. That would definitely be a character that I would consider investing in to truly benefit your your Jedi Knight Revan lineup. Noting his Omicrons, first of all, he's got the Treya Omicron, which is an S-tier Omicron, the Wampa Omicron, which is probably the best and most useful Omicron in the game, the Captain Phasma Omicron, which is amazing, the Droidica Omicron, which is amazing, Mara Jade's Omicron, First Order TIE Pilot's Omicron, which is all right, Poggle Lesser's Omicron, and then for some reason he has, I believe, Chief Sherpa's Omicron, which, probably he just got that when Omicrons first came out because he had his Ewoks to Gear 12. So he's got a lot of really, really, really solid Omicrons, and I would say that in my mind, there are none that really scream out as missing per se, because, of all of the teams that he has geared up, he pretty much has all the essential Omicrons that you'd be looking for. And if I was in Vince's shoes, I would really work on hoarding your Omicrons and not rushing to spend them, and just save them for, a good team down the line, perhaps when you get another Galactic Legend up or something like that. Oh yeah, looks like you've got Talon down here as well, who's probably not very useful with him. Let's talk about a few characters that I think that would be very, very, very useful for him to gear up. First and foremost, we're starting with the Armorer. Now, the Armorer works really, really well with the Supreme Leader Kylo Ren and Sith Eternal Emperor, so getting her up to Relic Tier 5 with some decent mods on her would actually allow your Supreme Leader Kylo Ren to potentially counter some Lord Vader lineups that don't have Reva. So Supreme Leader Kylo Ren normally is going to have a really tricky time countering Lord Vader, but with the Armorer, her ability, her ability to apply ingots on your team drastically increases the survivability of Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Giving him that counter chance is going to allow him to get some massive health steal, which is going to keep him alive against Lord Vader lineups for a long, long time. Next on the docket, in the same vein, is Wat Tambor. Getting Wat Tambor up to 7 stars and Relic, you're nearly 7 stars. Getting him up to Relic and keeping that Zeta on him, modding him for some good speed is going to drastically increase your roster's valuability over time. Wat Tambor is such a good character, so I would strongly recommend gearing him up if you have the time between any of your farms, because he is just going to drastically increase the viability of some teams. Your Jedi team, your Supreme Leader Kylo Ren team when you're countering Lord Vader, stuff like that. Supreme Leader Kylo Ren plus Wat Tambor and the Armorer is a very, very, very scary combo to go up against. Next is Jedi Master Yoda. Not only is he required for Jedi Master Kenobi, who I recommend you farm at the end of this video, depending on your preparedness for Commander Ahsoka Tano. Grandmaster Yoda is an amazing Jedi, and he pairs so well with their Jedi Knight Revan squad that you've almost completed. So if you get, Grandmaster Yoda and Hermit Yoda up to Relic, you're going to be doing a very, very, very good service to yourself, and you're going to prolong and increase the viability of that Jedi Knight Revan that you have taken up to Relics. Now, overall, Vince's roster is very, very, very good. I've got a few critiques coming up later in the video. He's got a lot of Gear 12 units, but overall, the characters that he has Reliced for the most part are very, very, very solid. There's no character that he has taken to Relic that jumps out at me as like, this was a horrible investment, which is actually really unique. His guild is not doing Rise of the Empire, so we shouldn't really expect him to have any bad relics. But for an account like this to have no relics that just look terrible or serve no purpose, like First Order SF TIE Pilot is not a great relic, but he is required for Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, and with that Phasma Omicron, he's going to be a lot better of a character. So overall, he gets a very, very, very high rating for me in terms of characters that he has chosen to take from Relic, all of them being either necessary or very solid in a lot of game modes. Now we're going to go over his Datacrons. So Vince has not invested in his Datacrons whatsoever, which upsets me a little bit, as I am a strong believer in the value of Datacrons. So Vince, I would urge you, man, dude, work on your Datacrons, get some more Archaic Rites ones, which would certainly help your roster. The Steadfast Resolve is not going to be that useful. Maybe farming 3 Steadfast Resolves and 8 to 10 Archaic Rites, dude, and you're going to see your Grand Arena Championship viability skyrocket as no one in your GP range uses them. Increasing your Supreme Leader Kylo Ren's health and protection by 75% in 5v5 Grand Arena is going to make him go crazy, as well as increasing his defense critical damage with these archaic right secondaries. Dude, you're missing out on a lot right here. So I would certainly recommend, purchasing these Datacrons from the shard shop with your shard currency. I did a whole breakdown on that, on how it's actually more worth it to farm Datacrons from the shard shop than it is to farm gear, as you're getting more benefit for a longer time than you are with gear. So, dude, you got to work on them Datacrons. Luckily for you, I've got an amazing Datacron guide that I'm going to send you a link on Discord. All right, hope you guys enjoying this portion. Let's get right into the GAC overview. And trust me, Vince is doing a great job in that department. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that in-game footage. First and foremost, we're going to be going over Vince's GAC performance. Now, he has kind of an impressive improvement over the past few months. He's increased about 150 since the beginning of last month, which is really, really, really good for a roster of his level. He is pretty high up for an account that has 5 million GP and only one Galactic Legend, pushing into almost the lower Erodium regions at the end of this 3v3 season. His defense is very solid. His offense is very solid. His performance overall is exceptionally nice for, anyone of his GP level and skill level. He's only got one Galactic Legend and he's only got one Galactic Fleet, and he's making the most with it. I can tell his offense and his defense are stellar. Two things to note. First and foremost, he misses participating in a few of his grand arenas, so a couple of the losses he just didn't attack. So I'm not sure if that has to do with his busy work life. I know he's pretty busy right now. Or something else. So just, keep in mind a couple of his losses would have actually been wins. So he would have, probably improved 200 points over the past month if he had been super consistent with attacking. And two squads of note. Vince's squad's on the bottom, the opponent's squad is on the top. He has two kind of like lower level squads that he puts on defense. They're both gear 12. With a person that has as many relics as he does in kind of a lower league like he is, I see no reason why in 3v3s he shouldn't have all relic characters on defense. But other than those two really minor things, Vince is doing a very, very, very stellar job overall in his Grand Arena Championship performance. Let's talk about his mods a little bit. So first and foremost, his mod score is a 1.94, which is not awful. Vince has a lot of 10 plus and 15 plus speed mods compared to a lot of people in his GP region, which makes his mod score very, very, very easy to improve. He's actually in a really nice situation when it comes to mod score. So my official recommendation for Vince would be to farm mod table 9C and mod table 9D. If I was in his shoes, I would be spending the 350 crystal refreshes every day and spending half of my energy on 9C and half of my energy on 9D. With this extra mod income that I'd be getting, I would work on slicing my mods that I have that are between 9 and 14 speed in the 9A region, the 9B to 9A region up to 6E or 6D. And once you start working on those 9 to 14 speed mods, which you have a lot of in your 10 plus and 15 plus region, you're going to see your mod score improve drastically over the following months. So again, his mod score is not bad. He's got a lot of those 10 plus speed mods and 15 plus speed mods that just need a little bit of improvement, a little bit of tender living care. So if Vince focuses on 9C and 9D and spends a little bit of crystals on those every day, he can drastically increase his mod score to probably 3.0 within a good month and a half, because he's, as far as I'm aware, in a very, very, very nice position when it comes to his number of 10 plus speed mods. So I like to see that. So I think Vince is going to have a really, really, really quick turnaround and quick improvement when it comes to mods. Lastly, we're going to talk about moving forward. Now, I believe he's working on his Starkiller farm. I think that is what he's working on, but even if it's not, I think the first thing he should do is finish Starkiller, because he's already a fourth of the way there, and Starkiller is going to drastically help his guild in Territory War, because he's in a below 200 million GP guild that does very, very well in Territory War. So obviously having an extra Starkiller would never hurt. That greatly, appreciate his guild's value in terms of Territory War. And then on top of that, this is going to serve him very, very, very well in Grand Arena, as Starkiller is one of those niche teams that you don't really see until you're in the mid a rhodium tier for most people, so a lot of his opponents are probably not going to know how to counter Starkiller very well. So he could be a defensive or offensive powerhouse depending on how you use it. Next, I would talk about getting his Commander Luke Skywalker team up and running. I would certainly recommend this. Commander Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Chewbacca, and 3PO, 3Baka right there. Are absolutely wonderful characters. You already have your 3PO up to Relic from getting gas. So rounding out these last 4 characters is going to give you a super viable team that's going to serve you very well all the way into the Kyber 3 region, which is where I'm sitting right now. So, I use my CLS to take down crazy teams every time. So, Star Killers, Grand Inquisitors plus Reva, a Commander Luke Skywalker team up to Relic is going to serve you super, super, super well for the long term. So I'd recommend getting them up next. Third on the list, we're going to talk about Galactic Legends in the future. After you get your Commander Luke Skywalker team and your Starkiller team done, it's time to start thinking about what Galactic Legend would make the most sense for Vince's roster. Now, since he's newer to the game and he's in the 5 million GP range, I have no idea how much progress he has made on his Proving Grounds characters. So my 2 recommendations, first is Jabba the Hutt and second is Jedi Master Kenobi, and I'm going to explain why each of them are, in that position. First, Jabba the Hutt, because when you farm Jabba the Hutt, not only are you getting the best Galactic Legend in the game, easily, you're also getting the whole team with him. So for Jabba the Hutt, the only extra character that you really need to farm is Embo, and that's mostly for territory war purposes. So when you farm Jabba the Hutt Galactic Legend, you get, 5 of the 6 best characters to use with him along with the farm. So the only extra character you need is Embo to farm. Next, I'd recommend Jedi Master Kenobi. That'd be my second choice. It's in second place because I don't know how much progress he's made with Commander Ahsoka Tano, how close he is, if he's willing to invest any crystals in that. And Proving Grounds, I know a lot of people who are not quite super high level or haven't been playing the game for a long time are very, very, very far off these Proving Ground characters. And the Proving Ground characters are very expensive to get if you really don't farm them like 90% of the way in Conquest. So if he's super far away from Commander Ahsoka Tano, I would certainly recommend going for Jabba the Hutt first, but if he's close to getting Commander Ahsoka Tano, I would kind of lean towards Jedi Master Kenobi, as it looks like his roster is a little bit more light side focused, and he's got a lot of his Republic characters up to a high relic, so Jedi Master Kenobi would be an excellent addition to this Republic team. Lastly, once he finishes his next Galactic Legends, I'd certainly work on your Sith Empire team, your Darth Revan, your Bastila Shan Fallen, your HK-47, your Sith Marauder, characters in that vein, to kind of prepare you a little bit in the future to go for Leviathan. I know you're not anywhere near that. Probably no one in your fleet shard even has Leviathan, but Leviathan is a great ship in the future, so just having those guys up to a base relic level to where your team's successful is going to help you a lot in the long term. So when you finally get those conquest characters, your Darth Malgus and your Darth Malgus's ship completed, you can move in the direction of the Leviathan. Or I'd go for your Inquisitors. I'm crazy for my Inquisitors. I think once you get Inquisitors in your roster essentially doubles in value at this point because of how good Reva is and how many guilds are just clawing to get her. So Inquisitors are also an amazing, amazing option. Just know that they are so Kyrotic expensive. So when you're farming your Inquisitors, act like they're a Galactic Legend, not as much as a regular team like Commander Luke Skywalker or the Sith Empire. Just be aware of the costs moving forward. I have a photo of Vince's roster right here to show kind of where he's at. And all I'm trying to highlight is the fact that he has really not a lot of stellar legendary teams. That's why I'm recommending Sith Empire, Commander Luke Skywalker, Starkiller, and Inquisitors for his legendary farms, and then a second Galactic Legend obviously would never hurt him. It's just for a lower, well, not lower, but a sort of mid-tier account like his, on the 5 million GP mark. It's important that you round out essential teams like Commander Luke Skywalker and Sith Empire before you go all in on Galactic Legends. I know a lot of people that have 4 or 5 Galactic Legends at 6 million GP, but they don't have those essential teams, which makes them really, really, really struggle in other game modes that aren't Grand Arena Championships. And as much as I hate to admit, Grand Arena Championships is not all this game is about. So certainly getting those teams rounded out is going to greatly benefit you in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed this roster review, I am doing roster reviews just like this for free. Comment your Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.gg in the comments below, or link your ally code, and I would be happy to add you to my roster review list. If you're watching this, there are still 5 rosters left on my list, so if you comment down below, you'll be 6th, 7th, 8th on the list. It's going to be a little while before I get through all those. Few guild plugs. All 3 of these guilds that I have highlighted right here are linked below in the description. They are extremely solid territory war performers as well as territory battles performers. These are competitive guilds. So if you're interested in getting your account into a more competitive environment, I've got the discords for all 3 of these guilds linked below, and you can go ahead and try and join them and see, see if they're looking for a couple players. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.